Hey guys, just jumping in again to let you know that Sonic Temple is going down May 17th, 18th, and 19th at the Map-Free Stadium in Columbus, Ohio.
Giveaway stream.
This Saturday, May 11th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to have a stream here on the channel where I am going to give away 2 free VIP weekend passes to Sonic Temple. We're going to be playing a few rounds of Madverse City from the Jackbox Party Pack 5 pack. We'll probably be going for a couple of hours, and the person who brings the best rhymes wins the passes. So come on in on Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, and you could very well win free passes to Sonic Temple next weekend. So yeah, I'm still trying to hammer out a few more Patreon requests before we get back to work on some of the longer vids, which by the way, I'll be putting to a vote here probably sometime before the end of the month, early next month, I don't know. If you'd like to be able to cast your vote towards that, be sure to check out Patreon. That's only a $1 pledge to get in on those polls. Shameless plug, shameless plug. But we are taking a small break from that because this is important, people. Oh man, oh man, oh man.
I was scared shitless about this album.
But, I mean, weren't we all, at least to a certain degree? I hate saying that about one of my all-time favorite bands, but yeesh. This album just had bad news written all over it, didn't it? At least at first, losing legendary guitarist Greg Heston and their amazing drummer Brooks Wackerman after the release of the very solid True North. That stung, especially Brooks. Seriously, he was the only good thing about the last Avenged Sevenfold record. That in and of itself was gonna be a hard mountain for the band to climb. But then that first single came out and it was bad. And it was bad on a level I don't think a lot of us were expecting. Full disclosure, I was pretty much bracing for this to be one of the worst albums of the year, possibly worst of their career. If that first single was anything to go off of, I mean, oof. But then more singles came out, and they were progressively better and better, and the band I knew and loved started showing through this record more and more. This record had me worried at first. But, you know, I'm glad I can finally say here, after listening to this album several times, that my initial fears totally unfounded. This album basically turned out to be opposite day. My people, in my opinion at least, this album's pretty good. Great even, especially for a band working on their 17th major full-length release. This record still kicks a lot of ass. This healed my freaking soul. It's amazing to see that after 39 years, the boys' signature band of fast-paced, Cali-style, melodic punk madness hasn't lost its proficiency, its intensity, or its relevance. That is truly a mark of mastery so impressive, every single person who's ever been in this band deserves a Keyblade. Greg's signature baritone is as fierce as ever, and those trademark oohs and ahs from the guys singing the 3-part harmonies just melt on your ears like butter, and this metaphor is getting really gross. They should call that something else. The 3-guitar assault of Brett Gurewitz, Brian Baker, and even newcomer Mike Dimkich from The Cult is still vivid and wildly fun. Though I do admit there's still a part of me that misses Heston's work. And his signature bounciness. That little dude loved to hop. And people, the lyrics here, goddamn, the lyrics are probably my favorite thing about this album, about the band in general. They are and continue to be one of the smartest bands in punk, if not rock music in general. It draws on a lot of topical issues, and it does so in a way that isn't dopey, half-hearted, or misinformed. Songs like Big Black Dog, Candidate, and The Profane Rights of Man all deliver the searing, rapier, precise fuck you to the current political climate in America America and the Western world in general, the new wave of proto-fascism, the suffocation of the middle and lower classes by the 1% bourgeoisie, the rampant and seemingly uncontrollable waves of misinformation and propaganda running unchecked, and hell, Big Black Dog in particular is just a nice big double fuck you with a Pepsi served in Trump's evil dick-headed face. I mean, one of the best records these guys ever put out is just one great big slam bang to the Bush administration. I would expect nothing less for this treasonous bankrupt fuck. I'd say the songs that got to me the most on this album in particular, though, are the ones that outlay the paranoia and relentless anxiety that these last few years have bred. Oh man, like, I mentioned that this album was kind of a healing record for me. Well, stuff like Do the Paranoid Style, End of History, and the title track, God, do they lay out just how fucked everything has gotten over the past few years in a way that feels genuinely empathetic and personal. And man, they do it in a way that just relieves my spirit. Like I'm laying out a gigantic repressed personal confession on a friend, and he or she just fires back with exactly the right thing I needed to hear, particularly with songs like My Sanity and Lose Your Head. Like, I needed to hear songs like that in my life right now. This album is a balm to me. Then again, I've never been exactly shy about Bad Religion being, one of my precious senpais. But that having been said, as much as I do like this album, and as much as I do put on the skirt for good old Bad Religion, I won't say it's perfect. Like I mentioned previously, Dim Kitch is good, definitely better than I thought he was going to turn out to be overall, but I was still totally missing Greg Heston on this record. And while new drummer Jamie Miller also delivered a better performance than I was expecting, he's definitely no Brooks Wackerman, and maybe it's just me, but it sounds like they mixed his drums way further in the back than they usually do. This album isn't perfect, but at worst, the problems I have with it are nitpicks. Even in their slight shortcomings, they still delivered a solid and very worthy performance on this record. They did better than I was expecting, and even with its small nitpicks, I don't think there's anything on this album that would really draw anyone away from it. I say, pick this up. Very strong recommendation from me, and definitely an Album of the Year candidate. Age of Unreason gets 4.5 out of 5.
Super special thanks to Color Around and Mo Madison.
And yet still are the new dark ages. Let's go.